Welcome to See You at the Table, where stories meet grace. Here we gather, not just to speak, but to listen. If you want to witness how God brings people together from all around the world through powerful testimonies, tune in and see you at the table. Here's today's host. All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm having deja vu right now because we filmed this podcast back in the summer, but unfortunately we had technical difficulties, so we're refilming. But today I have co-host Trent.
Yeah, that's me.
That's him. And we have Miss Chairty Powell today. Woo! Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Chairty. I've been here for a while. I work in our Office for Community and Access on campus. And yeah, I've got 2 degrees from Campbellsville. They're pretty great.
Working on a doctorate.
Working on that PhD.
Yeah.
Okay.
But going to that blue school in Lexington. Go Cats.
Oh.
C-A-T-S, cats.
Pretty stoked about it.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
Campbellsville is always going to be in my blood, so it's okay.
I agree. I don't bleed blue. Is that the cat's phrase?
That's,
Yeah, what do you
that's
even know what
unfortunate
sports
for
are?
you.
Like, who's your team?
My team for basketball?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the Wildcats.
Okay.
They're like usually the best, kind of.
Yeah.
So you're a fair weather sports person.
Here's my opinion on sports.
Oh, boy.
You're not going to like it. I'm just going to preface. My opinion on sports is it doesn't really make sense to me, and I've tried to work this out my whole life.
Like all sports or just
Kind of the way they work, because people are so loyal to the same teams, but then they haven't won anything since like the 90s, or they're terrible. Why are you loyal to that team? I just root for whoever's winning.
Oh, wow. She is a fair weather fan
That's
then, for sure.
There's a word for that?
I feel like there's something to be said for your personality or something. There's a flaw in this
I feel
system.
like we need to counsel her now. or
Mostly
something.
because I'm a Bengals fan and the Bengals never win.
Actually, I am a
So-
Bengals fan. I will say that. My
So then
family's
you're
a
not
Bengals
fair
house.
weather because
Well,
Bengals never win.
That's true.
I kind of just, I don't know.
I mean, who
See,
day?
I don't
but
understand
dang
sports.
Hmm,
I just kind of root for who I think's gonna win that season,
okay.
because I don't really understand. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, if the NFL conspiracy theory goes the way it's supposed to, the logo for the Super Bowl says that the Bengals are going to be in it.
Really?
Hmm?
I have
I've not heard about this.
at all.
Oh, the colors in the Super Bowl logo give a nod to who's going to be in the Super Bowl.
You're saying like NFL is like professional wrestling? Like it's
Pretty
all
much, yeah.
kind of scripted
It's all
out?
scripted.
Yeah. Wow.
Really?
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Do you think college football is like that too, or just the NFL?
Maybe not yet, but now that sports betting is a
I was gonna
thing.
say, as long as there's money involved.
Oh,
Yep.
see, I didn't even think about that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
welcome to the
that was a
podcast.
deep theological discussion.
Yeah. Well, usually we start out with a quick sort of like, what's your faith story? If you had to sum it up real quick, what's your
Or
testimony?
you don't have to
look
sum it
like?
up real quick. Yeah, we can.
Whatever you
Yeah.
feel.
Faith story. I mean, I'm from Kentucky. That's
Mhm.
part of the whole bleeding blue. I
Yeah.
do. So grew up in small town Kentucky, smaller than Campbellsville, and I used to say a lot that I grew up in a Christian home. You know, like the stereotypical answer.
Yeah.
Once I actually learned who Jesus is and what it means to be in a Christian home, I realized mine wasn't.
Yeah.
My parents got divorced when I was about 7, and neither one attended church regularly for a period of time. But we were very much in that like cultural Christian, like we're good people kind of
Yeah.
space. But once I got into like teenage years, I started to like really try to figure out who I was, and teenage things like what do I like and what's important, and was really trying to fit in, right? Like
Yeah.
because teenager,
Yeah.
and got invited to an FCA meeting. I was big into playing softball at the time, and so got invited to this meeting and found some friends that I really got along with, and ended up connecting and going to FCA camp that summer, and actually met the Lord there. Like, because I thought
Yeah.
I was a good Christian kid, right? But then I met Jesus and was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he actually loves me. Like,
Yeah.
I remember old school song, God of Wonders.
Oh, man.
was playing, and I remember thinking, this God created the universe, and he wants me.
Yeah.
And I was shook.
Shooketh.
I was shooketh, because I realized that God really did create me and love me, and I didn't need to prove anything to him.
Yeah.
So that was when I was 16. After that, I hit the ground pretty hard with just wanting to know who Jesus was and what my part was to play in living out the gospel. I assumed at that point that being a real Christian meant I was definitely going to be living in a hut somewhere in a third world country.
Yes.
Was a subscriber to Voice of the Martyrs because I thought that's the best way to die if you really love Jesus.
Familiar with that?
No, what is Voice of the Martyrs?
Explain that a little bit.
It was a magazine that highlighted persecuted people groups and would tell stories of different Christians who were martyred for their faith all over the world. And so
You thought you had to be that extreme of a Christian
Yeah,
to prove yourself.
right, that's what a good Christian is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I figured, I was really called. I love I realized I love people, but throughout the next few years, I would find that was really a deep-seated gift from the Lord. Came to Campbellsville, went on my first mission trip to Northern Ireland. And there actually got called to go to China that following Christmas, and ended up going to Ukraine before I graduated. And in those trips, just fell in love with traveling and sharing the gospel, and just seeing other people for the way God created them and just the beauty in that.
Yeah.
So I was convinced I'd be a missionary, and I was still thinking I'm still going to live somewhere else and be somewhere else sharing the gospel.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I'm still in Campbellsville. So
This place gets you, I'm telling you.
Man. But what I've found is that I've done a good bit of traveling. Over the summer, I actually I've now been to 30 countries on 6 continents.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I just need to go to Antarctica.
Antarctica mission trip when? We
Let's
could go.
go.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of scientists there.
There's
We could
something
go
there.
spread the
30
gospel.
countries, though. If you had to, and I know this is a little side note, I don't want to derail you on your faith journey, but do you remember, out of one or two of those countries, some of the biggest things the Lord taught you about being in that different space or that context? Is there something that really comes to mind quick as far as?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really blew me away was in the moment my team would get together and we would read through books of the Bible as we were traveling. And we were in Acts for a while. And I remember we were reading through Acts and we were in Thailand. Those two things overlapped. And so we're talking about Paul and some of his missionary journeys.
Yeah.
And I realized, so a lot of what we did in Thailand was actually encouraging believers there because there aren't very many. So we're talking about there was this village we were in and there were 15 Christians. And they prayed to have a church building for 30 years.
Wow.
And so when we showed up, we doubled their congregation.
Yeah.
But the encouragement we got to be to them was just incredible. And I realized all these missionary journeys, when you read about Paul, he was actually doing that very thing. That when he was doing missionary journeys, he wasn't necessarily going to places and sharing the gospel for the first time. A lot of his journey was landing in churches and encouraging the believers that lived there because they're the ones that are going to continue the ministry when he continues his journey.
That's good. Yeah.
And that just rocked my world. I'd never thought of it that way. How powerful it is for missionaries to go and encourage people that live where they are. And so that when we leave, we're not leaving a gap. We're actually leaving something sustainable.
That's kind of something they went over because the only mission trip I've really been on was when I went to Atlanta over winter break. And that's something they mentioned was a lot of the times, unfortunately, when Christians will go to other countries to do mission work, there's a saying that they end up doing more harm than they do good. Because that is kind of true. That's great if you convert 5 people to Christianity, but then is there anybody there to disciple them?
Right.
Will they just stray away or kind of forget what they learned? So that's something that they taught us was to, when you go on a mission trip, to like find people and equip them to be able to be teachers and make disciples, or give them material that will continue teaching them and help them. So
Right. So that was one of the most powerful, is that like encouragement to believers is so important.
Yeah, I love that. Did God ever teach you anything about people? Like, because that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of different cultures to be in.
So part of even what I'm talking about when I said team, I've realized there's no context for that right now. I went on a trip called the World Race, which was 11 countries in 11 months. So Thailand was like month 4, 5. So what I realized, though, before that trip, I thought I had a heart for like Asia.
Very
like,
specific.
This is where I'm going to be. This is the heart God's given me. And as we went on this trip, each month we went to a different country, right? So we land in New Zealand, and I'm like, man, I like these people. This is cool.
I would live in New Zealand.
But then we fly to Australia, and I'm like, man, I love these people. This is cool. And then we fly to Thailand, and I'm like, man, I like these people. And what happened was over 11 months, I never stopped saying, man, I love these people.
Yeah.
And seeing like the Imago Dei in every location, in every person, and saying, man, if I feel this way about these people, how much more does God love them?
Yeah.
And every culture was beautiful, and it wasn't about like, oh, well, they're different, so God probably doesn't like them as much.
No, not true.
Like being able to see like just the beauty and the diversity in creation, and I say that like broadly, like with nature and with culture and with people, like all of it, so incredible. Like, and it made my image of God so much bigger. Right?
Yeah.
Because if he says we're made in his image, well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of different things, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah.
That's awesome.
I think what I learned is that God gave me a heart for people. He didn't give me a heart for, like, a specific location, which, to put a bow on Faith Journey, like, being here, one of the best parts of being here, and one of the reasons I think I'm still here, is because we have such a diverse group of students here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now we've got 60 countries represented on campus.
Yep.
Like, come on now. That's amazing. We're one of the most diverse schools in the region, if not per capita, the most. So it's a pretty cool place to be.
It really is. I remember when I was looking at different schools, my brother and my sister-in-law, they really did not want me to come here because they kept saying over and over again, like, she's going to go to this tiny private Christian school. It's going to be just a bunch of white kids. She's not going to, like, learn anything, meet any new people. And then I got to school here and I was like, is this what every college is like? Because I was like, I feel like I'm meeting somebody from a new country every single day. I'm hearing a bunch of different languages. Like, my roommate, my first 3 years here, was like from Mexico, and then at one point in one of my like village houses I lived in, there was like a student from Kenya, a student from Mexico, and then like next door there might be someone from like Puerto Rico. Like there's like everyone, there's so many different cultures represented, and it's really cool to be here.
Yesterday I had lunch with some Korean students because they were celebrating Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
And so I got some really good Korean food.
Oh, man.
But got to like celebrate with people from the other side of the world, right?
Yeah, that's what's so cool about Campbellsville. Yeah. Little melting pot.
It's a special place.
Really is.
As a person who lives in Campbellsville, I think people don't realize how much that impacts the local community as well. My wife and I actually were just talking about, what if Campbellsville University wasn't in Campbellsville? Like, what would Campbellsville look like, right? It'd be a very different world because, and a lot of people don't realize that the life that a university brings to a town. And I don't think it's haphazard either. I think that God is using Campbellsville in a powerful way to reach nations and to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, what was for you? Because college students struggle with this a lot, trying to figure out what I need to do, where I need. All those questions that you were answering there were kind of directing you and helping you clarify things about how God has wired you. You know, what's something that you've learned through that process, just about how to discern. I don't want to say calling, because sometimes I think that even limits it more, but how to discern, where God has taken you and what you need to do, and especially because I think earlier things sometimes are a little more black and white, like this is the group I'm with, and then God does something a little different and actually usually bigger in scope than you were expecting. Kind of like Joseph. You guys are familiar with the Joseph story. He has the dream, when he's young, and I don't think he really understands it at all. Mm-mm. And I mean, it's not till the end of his life that dream, comes to fruition. And I think we get a lot of glimpses from God like that, and along the way, and that's okay. But yeah, what have you learned in that? Like, what would you say that helped? And even not just young adults, but old people like me too.
There were a lot of questions. There were a lot of questions within that question.
How did I discern direction?
Yeah, or what would be one piece of advice that you just give, just in relation to that? Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you feel like you already know all the information, or it seems pretty certain.
Yeah. I think what I've learned is if I think I have a really great idea, I'm probably off base.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Because I've had some really great ideas that had nothing to do with what God was asking me to do.
So what'd you do in that situation? How do you handle it?
Well, I think, honestly, I feel like the Lord has been really faithful and kind to make himself known in those moments where he's like, hey, focus. Hey, no, this is it. Over here. Look over here. Yeah. Because, or just even challenging me to say, I gave you this story to use for my glory. This isn't about you. Right? Because part of my family upbringing, too, is that I'm an only child.
Okay.
And my mom wasn't supposed to be able to have kids. So I was her miracle, which means I was very special in my house, right? So I got what I wanted.
A lot of attention.
I got to lots of freedom, and so then to if I try to put that on God, well, I want to do this, and he's like, well, actually, no, that's not the plan.
Yeah,
that ain't it. Focus.
Yeah.
But he's so kind. I've never felt like God was gonna give up on me because I'm stubborn. He was always just very persistent. I'd start having dreams about that trip that I was supposed to go on, or that move I was supposed to make. Even with starting my PhD, I was having dreams about what I wanted to do my dissertation on before I applied.
That's cool.
It was ridiculous. That's insane. And I'm not saying that that's what everybody experiences at all. But I think there are ways that God speaks to each person in a way that they understand. And it could be that song that keeps playing, or that person that keeps coming to mind, or that situation that keeps coming up that you're able to speak truth into. Paying attention to those things that just keep happening. I think repetition is something that we should pay attention to, right? If it happens in Scripture, we usually pay attention.
Yeah.
Especially if it's 3 or more.
Yeah.
Okay, you probably should pay attention to that.
Yeah.
That's good. And so I think God is really kind in the way he's good at repeating himself and not giving up when I don't listen the first or second time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. I kind of felt that a year ago. I felt like I needed to change my major. Totally out of left field. I went through 3 years of such a hard major, music ed. It's basically a double major.
Worst.
It's the worst.
As in the hardest.
It's a lot of work.
It's a great degree.
Difficult degree.
Difficult.
It really is. I mean, you'd think we were nursing students or something. The amount of they call them clinicals. We have to go get all these clinical hours. It's a lot. And so I had done 3 years of that program, and I was almost done. I was just going to take classroom management, student teach, and I was going to have my degree, and I could go interview for a job and get a job. And the Lord was like, hey, change your major to worship arts. What are you talking about? I was so confused. I was like, I don't even sing on stage. I don't play guitar. I played piano growing up, but not in this style of modern worship. And he was like, just do it. And I was like, okay, sure. And I couldn't explain it to anybody. Everybody kept asking, what are you doing? My parents were like, what are you doing? You're crazy. And I was like, I'm just going to do it, and we're going to see what happens. So I did, and now it makes total sense, because now I've had like all these different opportunities and these things that I get to lead and do that would not have happened if it had not have been for changing my major. So I think sometimes he shows you things, and he kind of just needs that step of faith from you to show you what he's going to do with it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think there's sometimes too, we don't have the full picture, but somehow we know that God's in it, and so we step into it, or something happens and you think, oh, nothing good could come from this. Yeah. And then a couple months later you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, that was such a God thing. Like, he put me in such a better spot than I ever imagined being in.
Yeah.
Like, and I had nothing to do with it. I think that's that's another like kindness of God. Like, he puts me in such great places, or like puts us in such perfect positions, and we would have never dreamed it.
Yeah.
Like, Joseph would have never dreamed of where he ended up.
Oh, yeah, basically being like a leader of Egypt.
Yeah, like
so random.
Command. He would have never.
Yeah. Or especially even
or
the route
saving all of the people.
All the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
All because God like orchestrated this beautiful story.
That's why I try to tell myself sometimes, like, there's sort of that saying that, like, what is it? Like, God doesn't have the same concept of time that we have, because, like, he has no beginning, no end. So to us, like, I'm living out this day today, and it feels like I'm living in slow motion. But to him, like, he sees the full picture, and I'm just living out the small details. So I don't know everything that's going to happen, but he does. So sometimes if something doesn't make sense, I just need to trust that he is working, and he's going to use everything for his glory and for his plan and for his purpose. Yeah. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Well, we've come on like we're past 20 minutes. This is a long one. We're having a good time yapping today. Well, we usually ask at the end for a table tip. So it's called the See You at the Table podcast. And sort of the idea was to bring people around the table to talk about the Lord, share ideas. So at the end, we always ask for a piece of wisdom. So something that you can share that either you do in your life or something you heard recently that made you think differently about the Lord, or
something to chew on.
Something to chew on, as he would say.
Something to marinate.
At the table.
At the table.
I think I've been thinking a lot about, and even came up in this conversation, about the way God does use things in our lives to strengthen the body, like body of believers. Because a big part of my story is that I've lost a lot of people over the last decade. So, my mom and grandma died on the same day, 8 hours apart. My dad died 8 months later. And that season of grief, I was like, I don't know what I've done to God to deserve this, right?
Yeah.
Not good theology. It wasn't from God. But I felt that way for a while. And what I've found since then, a decade out, is that I can speak into grief in a way that a lot of people can't. And I can help strengthen people in a way that not a lot of people can. That God has taken something that I would not wish on my worst enemy, but has created a space in me to be able to speak life and truth and hope into situations where nobody wants to be. When somebody experiences loss, it's just hard, and there's not a whole lot that can be said or done. But God has given me that gift to be able to use something that was really tough to bring about hope and life. And I would just challenge anybody listening, watching, to think about the things that have happened in your life that God can use to bring about his kingdom on earth. because each one of us have some sort of piece to our story that can be used for God's glory. And you don't want to miss that opportunity. We can sit in stuff that's broken, or we can use it to bring glory to God.
Yeah. That kind of, this is random, but when you said that, the image that popped into my head, I think it's a type of Japanese art called like kintsugi, I think.
I've got a kintsugi bowl in my office.
Yep, and basically they take like the broken pottery and they like put it back together and they paint gold over it to like highlight the cracks. And that's kind of, I don't know, that image always pops in my mind when I think about what God can do with our lives, is he can bring glory to the things that were broken. He puts us back together and like sort of, I guess, highlights our brokenness to show that
what's
better.
What's cool about kintsugi is they're actually more expensive after they've been broken.
Yeah.
So it takes plain ceramic and they break it and then they put it back together with gold.
Yeah. This would be a good sermon.
You guys preach
If
it,
y'all
Steal our idea.
If y'all want to see a kintsugi bowl, come to my office. I have one.
Awesome.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod today. And thank you, Trent, for co-hosting today. And we'll see you next time. Bye. This podcast is brought to you by Campus Ministry at Campbellsville University, where faith, testimony, and dialogue come together. Stay connected, stay inspired, and we'll see you at the table next time.